All right, quiet on the set.
All right, gotcha.
This weekend, SEC football promo. Take 2. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your guy, Mr. Fingers, coming to you live from Zagnif Central.
Hey, and I'm Colin P., your brother from another. What it is, Showbiz?
I will tell you what it is, Showbiz. You guys, welcome to this week's edition of This Week in SEC Football. But before we get started, do us a little favor. If you're watching us on the YouTube, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button if you have not done so already. We appreciate you much. And if you want to be a contributor to the show, a little something to help the cause, right down there in the bottom, in the lower third, in the crawl, rolling across your screen is the address for our Patreon page. We got some great perks for those of you that are contributors and regular viewers of the show, because we appreciate you so very, very much. So, Colin, my man, I think it's time to get this show started. What you say?
My man, let's lay the hammer down.
Oh, you know we gonna do something before 2 something. Club Shay coming right at you right after this. Oh, hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls.
What Bama does, what Bama do.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, gang, what's going on? It is your guy, Mr. Fingers, coming to you live from Zagnif Central. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? As the thing says, hello, how's everybody doing? And my partner in crime, right over there, that fella right there, that is the brother from another, the sexy Mother Hubbard, the ace of base in the place, in your face. I am very happy to be here. This is my favorite part of the game. Colin P. from the DMV. In the SEC, sitting chilling with me in the place to be while I'm doing it for me, you, and thee from OKC. Boom, there it is.
Bars.
Mic drop. How you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm doing all right, dude. I'm so happy it's the weekend. Get to watch another weekend of college football. Man, I'm just so glad this week's over with, and we finally got a chance to play a conference game. How about yourself, man? I know you've been talking to me earlier about work, and I know you're happy for the weekend too, man.
Bruh, I've been working. I look at the work. They've been working me so hard. I feel like that cadence we used to sing in basic training. Hard work, round the back corner 3. Hard work, real sergeant looking down at me. Anyway, yeah, it's been a long week. I'm glad it's the weekend. I'm looking forward to some more college football. I'm looking forward to them dogs on the field doing that thing. They're gonna be down in Columbia. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But yeah, it's been a good week. It's been busy but quiet at work, so I can't complain at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we appreciate you guys that are watching us right now. Welcome to This Week in SEC Football Season 2, episode 25. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 25 episodes we have done so far this season. It is only September. We still got, counting this weekend, we got 10 more weeks of games, plus bowl games, plus conference championships, plus playoffs, plus hopefully the 2022 college football championship. So we're going to be here for a minute, and we're doing 2 a week. So we're going to be well up over, about 50, 60 episodes by the time the thing is all done. I can't do math today because that's just how things are going. But it's all right. 1 + 1 is 2, + 4, that's 5. Quick math.
What?
What I said, that is what I said. Anyway,
Georgia math.
Yeah, that's that Georgia math. So we're gonna go ahead and before we even jump right into it, we're gonna go ahead and get our sponsor out there, ladies and gentlemen. A word from Squid Rips Cards and our guy Sid Swinton. Hang tight. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. He's got those polls every week. He is live twice a week on the TikTokers or the Talk Tickers or whatever it is, the Clockety Clockers. Yeah, boy, something like that. Check him out. You want cards? He's got them. That's my man. Get at him on TikTok at Squid Rips Cards. He's on the IG also at Squid Rips Cards. Facebook, look for him everywhere. Squid Rips Cards. That's the guy to get to. So, of course, you know we're going to get into it, ladies and gentlemen, because you know that's how we do. Starting with the first game that we're going to get into, you know we got to give the dog some love. So we asked a few men. We got a few man on the street interviews, and this is what we got for this week's coming game against South Carolina.
Ain't nobody worried about no Georgia.
that right there, courtesy of Jermaine Funny Main Johnson. That's how you follow him on all social media platforms. Definitely on Facebook. Big time Alabama fan. He does some of the greatest recap videos you ever want to see. Even though he's an Alabama fan, my man is doing a doggone thing. So
he's good.
go ahead and check him out. So let's get into it, bro. We got Sir Big Spur and the Colonel and whatever you want to call them. They're not coming to us. We're going to them. We're going to be in Columbia this weekend. That is a 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff on the 4-letter network. Right now we are favored by 25.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually going up. I think it started around 23, and I kind of just creeped up a little bit. And I think it's 25 as of today. But yeah, how do you feel about that cushion they gave us there?
I mean, realistically speaking, it is not not doable. Okay. It's just that the guys have to stay focused. They can't get cocky. They can't go, oh, this is South Carolina, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because remember, this is not the South Carolina of the later years of Will Muschamp before he got let go.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
These guys are focused. They're lasered in. They're ready. They're hungry. They want to play. I mean, these guys are coming in realizing they got some rebuilding to do, but they're still out there and they're going out there and they're giving it a whole bunch of heart. I mean, even though Spencer Rattler threw for over 300 yards last week, and didn't look necessarily great, but he still threw for over 300 yards last week.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent. They just need to hone in on it and get it together. Now, to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to take them that long to get it together. So I mean, like you said, we can't look past this. Even though that large spread. I mean, I don't think we will. I'm just saying, seems a bit high to me though. But
well, you know what? To be completely honest, I get it because, and here's why. Even though we played Samford last week, and even though we played Samford last week, we played a ranked team in Oregon to begin the season. And I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, screw Oregon," and whatever. And you kind of hope that they turn the season around and win out, so that win means something. But they were ranked when we played them, and we held them to 3 points. So after 2 games, even though we don't have that fearsome front seven that we used to have, we've held 2 teams to 3 points in 2 games. And so in looking at what South Carolina has brought to the table over the last 2 weeks, that's not unrealistic. I mean, the offense is pretty prolific. We got a really good receiving core, although injury reports just in. A.D. Mitchell did not make the trip. He's got a bad ankle. Eric Gilbert is out this week. He didn't make the trip. And William Poole is out for personal reasons. Let the storyteller behind the scenes. Poole is disappointed that he's not getting a lot of reps and he's doing a lot of yakking, and Kirby doesn't clientele with all of that. It's like, you know what? Watch this. You're gonna. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. That's our first watch this of the week. Kirby told William Poole.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
gonna leave you and we're gonna leave you at Athens. You get to stand with the fans and wave by as the bus pulls off.
That's
So
right. I mean, if you want to talk about it, I mean, if what everybody was saying was true about JT, I mean, he don't mind sitting anybody. Don't care how many stars you got behind your name. you're gonna be, I mean, that's what it should be, though.
I mean, Justin Fields, who was a
Yeah.
4-star, Jacob Eason, who was a 4-star, you know, JT thought it was going to be his year last year, got hurt. Stats came out, the boys started winning, and JT was like, "Hey, coach, hey, coach, hey, coach, I'm
Yeah.
ready, coach, I'm coach. All right, over there, okay, all right. Well, let me. I'll just be
This
over
one,
here if you need me. I'll be right over here. You let me know. I'm ready to go in anytime. It's Brucey's time to shine. So,
yeah, man.
oh
I
man,
think I don't know.
don't ask
Hopefully,
me where that came from.
I don't think. I mean, Rattler's got to. I mean, I think it all comes down to his protection, and then coming from our defense, I don't think he's going to get a lot of that this tomorrow. But we'll see. Their running game and passing games needs to be on point, and that'll give us time to actually see how our secondary, actually performs against somebody like him.
Yeah, definitely.
But,
He's thrown, he's only thrown for 2 passing touchdowns, but he's also thrown for 3 picks in 2 games. So, when you're throwing for 300 yards, you should have more than just a couple. I mean, he's thrown for close to 500 some odd yards so far this
yeah.
season, 500 or 600 yards, and he's only got those 2 passing touchdowns. So there's some work to be done
He's
there.
been sacked 9 times, so he's been sacked 9
Yeah,
times.
when you're running for your life, it's kind of hard to throw touchdown passes. Actually, 603 yards. And they have 0 run game whatsoever. So if I was Kirby, I would tee up on that. I would tee up on that passing game and force them to run the ball. That's exactly what we're looking at. Then on our side, we got Smith had a standout. Christopher Smith had a standout game. The first week, you got Starks, who is our leading tackler, actually, with 8 tackles. And, I mean, that's not a whole heck of a lot, but you got a DB with 8 tackles. That's saying something. That means you're forcing, you're forcing your opponent. Your opponent really can't throw the ball down the field so
He's
far
got
in 2 games.
one interception, too. So, I mean, he got 1 interception and 1 pass defense on that as well. So, yeah.
That critical interception. So, let's just start with our concerns, man. What are some of the things that concern you on the Georgia side of the ball as far as for this week, for tomorrow?
Well, I mean, I'd like to see concerns. I mean, I'd like to see us get to the backfield more on defense. I'd like to see the line to get through there, the offensive line to get to the quarterback, because we haven't done that. In the last 2 games we played, really, we don't have any sacks or anything like that yet. But that would be one concern to me. If we do force them to run the ball, those guys have got to be able to closing speed, work on that closing speed and get to the back. But then again, it will force our DBs and our secondary to step up as well. So I mean, I would say the defense is my overall concern. Just the running our defense toward the run. Offense, I don't really have any concerns with offense. I mean, I think we're actually clicking. I'd like to see a little bit more of Stetson passing with Brock Bowers and Big O, and it looks like he's getting everybody involved. Like he's throwing a lot of different receivers, which is good. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see continued progression from him. But the concern would be defensive line.
Yeah. That front 7 definitely needs to, I've made mention of the fact that they do a lot of arm tackling. Now, again, last week they did play Samford, so this is kind of a warm-up game. It was kind of a live scrimmage that actually counted for a win or a loss in stats. But this is kind of a warm-up game for the Dogs for this coming Saturday. Now, we talked about some things that concern us. Let's talk about the things we like. You definitely you hit nail on the head. We've seen Stetson be very calm, cool, collected in the pocket. We've already talked about that, knowing when to take the shot downfield, knowing when to throw it away. mixing it up with his receivers so nobody keys up on any one receiver. No one receiver yet has really become the dominant receiver yet, but that's a good thing because after last year, everybody's going to key up on Brock, and now they're going to start keying up on McConkey. But we also got Big O, and Big O's got speed and size, so he can seal off the end of the line of scrimmage on an end around or a jet sweep, or they'll play action. He can seal it off and then break off and catch a pass in the flats and give us 5 or 6 yards downfield in a crucial yardage situation. Those are definitely the things that I like. I like the heart and the energy that the guys in the secondary are playing with for sure. So those are a couple of things that's just me. That's what I see. I'm gonna go ahead and give them the air horn right there. That secondary has been solid. So those are some of the things that we like. Now let's move a little forward. Let's talk about another aspect here. Let's talk about what is it that you want to see more of on Saturday. I mean, you talked about the defensive front seven. You talked about that and them wanting them to be more get after it, more in the backfield, more disrupting these pass plays. And I think if there's a team that we're playing that you had the perfect opportunity to get after them is South Carolina with this very less than stellar, I won't say uber bad, but I'll say less than stellar offensive line. So that's definitely
you would almost like them to be a little bit better. You almost like them to be just a little bit better than they're being touted as. But you're right though. I mean this will be a good test for them to see if we're going to play other teams that we're going to have to make the quarterback make bad decisions and have him rush and have him running around like crazy back there. We're going to have to get some kind of pressure on the quarterback because the teams we playing like Anthony Richardson, Florida, that kind of stuff. Those kinds of quarterbacks will eat you alive. You just need to get back there. I mean, regardless if our corners are actually doing well, which they are, but you can't expect them to do everything. You need to get that pressure on the quarterback, get through to the backfield.
Yeah, 100%. I think I know you can't play the what if game, but man, if we had last year's front seven with this year's secondary, Jesus, it would be nasty. Boy, you want to talk about a barn burner and a hobnail boot all at the same time every week?
No kidding.
Yeah,
I don't think we got the weight though, dude. I haven't even looked at the weight we have on our line, on our defensive line. I think we might have taken a couple pounds. We shed a couple pounds on.
We lost at least 50 pounds cumulative when Big Baby went to the league.
No doubt. Him and 99 and 98, or who was that? Who was his buddy on the other side? I can't remember.
Well, again, here we go with the show prep right there. Somebody will pop us in the comments with the names. But here's some of the things that I want to see from the squad this week. I want to see more of the running backs. That's definitely who I want to see more of. We know that the receiving core is solid. We know that the receiving core is solid, but nobody has really emerged as somebody who's going to be that stud this year. Now, like I said, is Kirby maybe holding his cards until he gets in the conference play, and then he's just going to open up the can and go execute plan 7 and just run roughshod over him. But I definitely want to see more of Kendall. Kendall is actually nursing a hamstring, but he's still probable. So Lord knows, he might see some light action tomorrow. But he's
carrying most of the load, and he's got a total of 135 yards, I guess, and his average is 7.5 yards per carry, which is on 18 carries, which is
God, that's more than Zeus was getting, and Zeus was grinding it out. I want to see this kid Branson Robinson. I want to see him. It's been a long time since they've taken a freshman and thrown him out there and said, "Go do what you do." I want to see them mix him into some of these plays because it's more so out of curiosity for me. We know that Kirby Smart is a coach, just like we're not going to change the recipe if I can fix it 100% perfect every time using this recipe. But I'd like to see more out of him just because after a while they'll start key up on Kendall, and we already know he's back from missing most of last season, so we don't want to run a guy in the ground that you might need at the end of the season.
He may be, in my opinion. You think maybe we could use him as a third down back? I I mean, possibly Robinson.
Yeah,
Robinson.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I 100% would like to see him as a third down back. That would give them the opportunity to get him out there and grind some yards out and get some game reps also, because we all know game reps, practice is good, but game reps are better. Something else I wanted to see was Eric Gilbert, but we know now we're not going to see him. I mean, I hope that whatever he's got going on with him, he'll be able to resolve. Whether at this point, for me, it's whether he plays football or not. I hope he's able to work out his personal issues.
For sure.
You know, I mean, you're talking about a kid that's, you know, a 5-star high school football player out of Marietta. Those Georgia fans know all about Marietta, right outside of Atlanta. 6'5", so he's big. He is imposing. He can challenge for the jump ball. Like he's got the tight end. He's got tight end build with wide receiver speed, and you know, you would hope that he could get over whatever that is bothering him. The other thing that I want to see more of, I need to see Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith, you, sir, are representing my hometown, the Empress City, Savannah, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see more out of you, sir. Now, he did have a really big year last year. He had, you know, he 31 solo tackles, 24 assists, 3.5 sacks, and a pick during the national championship season. Well, now those guys are gone. It's time for you to step up and be that leader, especially being a senior on the squad. Need to see that from you. But those are some of the things that I need to see. I am 100% in agreement with the 25-point favor. So I don't have a problem with that. I think I see Georgia doing a very good job. I see them playing a clean game. I'm hoping for a clean game, I should say, and that we emerge victorious after the clock hits all zeros on Saturday afternoon around about 3:45 p.m.
So hey, I just want to throw something in there just to kind of piggyback on what you said, you know, and we had talked about Michael Williams, you know, the guy that was actually, you know, Trayvon 2.0. He did have 2 tackles. He has had 2 tackles, total tackles. I'd like to see more of him, you know, just kind of piggyback on what you said. Man, can't talk. Is that Southern drawl, man?
I was gonna pick on you. I was gonna let you get through it, brother.
I was waiting for you. You took too long. I was waiting for you to jump. I was waiting for you to pounce. But no, I mean, I want to see him. I want to see him and like you said, Nolan Smith. You know, I want to see some of that what we saw last year with, you know, Trayvon and, you know, Kobe. You know, having that kind of leadership. You know, just going off of what you were saying, having that kind of leadership, you can tell on the field. You can actually see the leadership on the field. Which, I mean, it is early, so I mean, maybe that'll, you know.
Yeah, but at this point, you're expecting all of your leaders to be really stepping up and to really be stepping up and making plays and doing things and encouraging the other guys to do the same. That's one of the things that we saw a lot of last year with the guys that were drafted. Not only were they were making plays, and them making plays motivated other guys to make plays. And I know what I definitely would like to see at least one more time, at least one time this coming Saturday. I'd like to see something that look a little bit like this happen on Saturday, if at all it could possibly happen. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That would be awesome. Malachi Starks right there just went up and got it. So yeah, I definitely would like to see more of that.
You can see the fire in that kid, man. To jump up like that, that's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we got for Georgia versus South Carolina. You know what? I didn't even mention the fact that they're ranked number 1 in the AP, because for me in week 2, number 1 means nothing to me unless, you know, number 1 means something to me when the season is over and the championship has been played. Grateful that they're ranked number 1, but you know, that's when you get the target on your back. So to the Georgia Bulldogs.
So on that, so Kirby, you know, Kirby's got all these sayings, right? It's like pressure's a privilege. You know, he's got all this kind of keep chopping, you know, all these little things. You know what this year's is? Don't care. Just 2 words. Don't care. So y'all are number 1. Don't care. You know, nobody cares.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I think it might be nobody cares. Yeah. It is nobody cares. I'm wrong. Nobody cares. Yep. That's 2 words.
I like
nobody
that
cares.
a lot. Well, that's number 1, Georgia versus South Carolina. Again, that is a 12 p.m. kickoff Eastern on the 4-letter network. ESPN is where you can catch it. We are going to take a brief break here and show you where you can find all of the Let's Talk Football family of podcasts and live shows. And we will be right back. And that is the entire lineup of the Let's Talk Football family of shows right there. As you can see, there's one just about every day of the week. The only exception so far is Fridays, and we're just here tonight just because of work schedule. We're normally on Thursdays, but our dear friend Foobs from up north, the North Sports Dynasty, just got done doing his show. He's a friend of the family, so he's on Fridays if you want something to check out from somebody that's tied to the I won't say tied to the fence post. That doesn't even sound right.
Your turn to mess up.
Yeah. There we go. There's one for Mr. Fingers right there. Moving on to our next game of the week that we need to look at. There's not a lot of in-conference play this week. This is only the second conference game of the week. Mississippi State is taking on LSU. LSU riding high after that really big win over Southern University, 65-17. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can say about that. I mean, it's pretty much what I expected. That's pretty much what I expected. It's a smaller HBCU. It's LSU and a bigger Division I FBS SEC team. So, and that was a game that I said that they really needed to win, because if they lost that game after the loss the previous week, then they would probably lose some of the guys mentally for the season. Keyshawn Boutte was really, really ticked off after the week 1 loss. Took all the LSU stuff off of his off of his social media and everything like that. So, just exactly like I said, just to recap what I touched on Monday, those guys were out there. They were having fun. It got to the point where they were not only playing football, they were out there having fun, and that's kind of part of what football is about. I mean, you want to get in the league, but you also want to get out there and have fun, and there's a swagger to guys on a team when they're doing good, and that was what they needed to get their swagger back. So this week, they welcome Mississippi State. Would you be surprised if I told you Mississippi State was favored by 3?
No, I actually saw that earlier, but yeah, I mean, it did surprise me. It did surprise me. But I was gonna go back to what you're saying about going to play Southern. Do you think Brian Kelly's speech kind of got a little more upbeat than last week?
I think it did. I mean, but then there's always this part right.
Opportunities there in that first half, but you're only down by 4. What was your message?
We can't play any worse than that, I don't think. I mean, it's my first game. Maybe we can.
Yeah, what a confidence builder.
Yeah, not a confidence builder, but they came back and did what they needed to do.
Yeah, they
this past Saturday. So let's see if they can keep that streak going against Mississippi State. But one of the big things about Mississippi State is, we still haven't seen a lot of Jaden Daniels, because they got such a big lead that he kind of, after the first quarter, they tapped him out, next man up. But he did finish 10 of 11 with 137 with a couple of passing TDs and a couple of rushing TDs. So he led 5 scoring drives, and the coach was like, "Hey, come have a seat. Let's let second string get in and do some stuff." Defense pulled up. The defense had 3 picks and 3 sacks. So there wasn't a whole lot that you could do. There wasn't much that Southern could do except to send their band out at halftime, the human jukebox, let the human jukebox do their thing, which they did. Right. So what are you seeing as some of the potential keys to the game for this game this week? Let's see keys to the game for Mississippi State.
Give me 1 second. I had something written down here. 1 second. But it was well, I mean, honestly, it comes down to defense. I mean, like I would say, that would be the main thing with Mississippi State for me. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find what I
Well,
got here.
while you're looking that up, I definitely agree with you. One of the things that they're going to have to do is they're going to have to press Jaden, and they're going to have to press him hard
Right.
because he's starting to because from week 1 to week 2 he went from spreading the ball around to 4 receivers to he hit I got it here 9 receivers that he passed the love around. That did
Right.
not sound right. We're going to have Mr. Fingers hit that horn for himself again. But he did show all of his receivers some love. Y'all know what that phrase means. He showed them a lot of love. 9 receivers altogether on 11 passes. So that ball got I'm just going to stop
that
there. He had a really
was
good passing performance during his 1 quarter of football. So now as far as on that's the thing, he's got to keep spreading the reps around. He's and
yeah.
the thing for them on defense, the thing for LSU on defense, I got 3 words for LSU. Stop Jet Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Jet Johnson has been buck wild over 2 weeks. He's their leading tackler with 20, and he has more than twice the amount of tackles than anybody else on the defensive squad. I think the next leading tackler has 6. He's no bumper pool, but he's out there doing the doggone thing. So he's a linebacker from Tupelo, Mississippi. He's got and a defended pass and almost got himself an interception. So that's the key to offense that's the key to LSU and their offense. Keep Jaden protected and make some lanes and open up some lanes for your running backs. That's the other thing. They're not really, I mean, they're running the ball, but they still haven't quite gotten there yet. That's what I'm seeing. So what about on the LSU side? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying about Jaden, but I'm saying, their defense, like you said, Major Burns, he had 11 tackles. But like I said before, they need to contain Will Rogers. I mean, they got to contain him. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, like defense. Because I mean, look at what he has total. Will Rogers got 763 yards total.
Yep.
And
leading the SEC right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got he's only been sacked 3 times. He's got 2 picks, 9 touchdowns. So I mean, they definitely got to corral him and make sure their defense, their secondary, and obviously their line, to get pressure on him, make him make some bad decisions. But part of the offense, I mean, they just, I mean, I can agree with you on like Jaden. Jaden needs to protect the ball. No, don't cough it up. And same with the running backs, and they just need to protect the ball. I mean, I feel like if they keep scoring and they can keep up with Mississippi State and the turnovers, I think they'd have a chance in this game. But I think Mississippi State's going to take it.
Well, you don't want to turn it into a battle of the turnovers, because if that's what you got going on and both teams are turning the ball over, then it comes down to who's got the ball at the end, who makes the most costly turnover at the end of the game. But
that's when they always come up.
But one of the things about Mississippi State is that Mississippi State has a really great rush defense. Their pass defense is not as great as their rush. Their pass defense is great. Their run defense is not so great. So my thing is for LSU, that's something that they would need to really start pressing. I hope Brian Kelly is pressing them on these, getting the ball, rushing the ball. Oh, there we go. We got Katie joining us. Thank you very much, Miss Katie Alberson. About to welcome Mr. Sean Spencer into the big house tomorrow. For the game tomorrow. So yeah, that's basically what I'm looking at. Their run defense, Mississippi State run defense, not so great. They're allowing 220 yards per game, and so far the leading rusher for LSU is at about 170 yards. So for 2 games, so if they get that run game going real good tomorrow, they could be in good shape. I don't think you want to really get into a battle of the turnovers, because Will Rogers, we have seen so far with 2 picks, is still leading the SEC. They are 2-0. LSU needs this win to keep up, because Mississippi State is second in the West right now. only behind
Yeah.
Bama. So
So
that's
it
what
comes
we
into
got.
like it comes into like you have a prolific or a good quarterback such as Will Rogers or Bryce Young. I mean, it all comes down to pressure, make him make that bad decision, put him on his back, that kind of stuff. And I think that's what LSU has to do with Will Rogers.
100%. I am in agreement with you there, sir. We are going to keep this thing moving on along here. The next game we're going to get into is we're going to talk about Miami. Number 13, Miami makes the trip to College Station to face Texas A&M after that catastrophic. I won't say. Well, would you say that loss was catastrophic for Jimbo, or is it just a whole lot of posturing just because he had a whole lot to say in the offseason? You think they make the bounce back this week?
I mean, as you can know, as you notice, he hasn't been very quiet since that game. I mean, I don't think nobody's heard too much from him, which I don't. I mean, what can you say? But that may be one of the nails. I don't know for sure. That might be one of the nails. Nail might be hanging out just a little bit in that coffin. I mean, if something else happens, maybe there'll be at least a talking to. But I don't know. They still got to pay him that money. So I mean, I don't think it's that
Yeah,
big
they
a deal.
owe
But
him.
it's more of a like a what do you want to call it? Like a hit to the ego for him, I think, more than anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's still going to win. I think we still had them winning 10 games this season, which would be good enough for, depending on where everybody else stands, which would be them being an SEC team would be good enough to make a New Year's Six bowl, even if they don't make the playoffs. But yeah, they definitely A&M is really only allowing 112 yards passing per game. So they got a really great pass defense. But one of the things that they got to do is but somebody you got to watch out for is this kid in Miami. His name is Henry Parrish Jr. And Henry Parrish was at Ole Miss. He transferred in. He's a sophomore because he got the extra season due to COVID. But he played at Ole Miss, and the reason that we don't know who he is 2 words: Matt Corral. So this kid, I watched his highlights. He's not quite as shifty as Kenny Walker. Like I talked about Kenny Walker as an NFL rookie to watch this coming Sunday. He's not quite as shifty, but he's good. He's got good speed to explode through the holes in the offensive line. Once he gets there, then he's just got, he's got some good juke moves for days. Now he's a little smaller. He's not quite as big in the leg, so he can still get leg tackled. But that's a guy that can make a big difference when you're trying to eat up the clock for grind the clock out, or if you're just trying to alternate between pass and run, alternate pass and run during the drive downfield. So that's a guy that we need to watch. Right now, Texas A&M is favored by 6 points.
Yeah.
For this coming weekend, for this game tomorrow. That game is at 9 p.m. That's a late one. 9 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. And I forgot to put the time out for the previous game, Mississippi State and LSU. Mississippi State and LSU. That game is at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. So we're going to move on to our next game here. This one's got implications. Penn State and Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Not a whole lot to say about the game so much, because Penn State is favored by 2.5 points. It's a 3:30 kick on CBS. But we know what happened with Brian Harsin this past offseason.
Mm-hmm.
We now know the athletic director who stood in the gap for him when they were trying to get rid of him is now gone.
Yep.
And he has no more cut cards. We see what happened to Scott Frost last week. My opinion is Harsin. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't think Harsin can lose. This is not a game that he can afford to lose. Even though they're unranked and Penn State is ranked number 22, I don't think he can afford to lose this game. If he loses this game, he's going to get a stern talking to, and the next one is going to be a firing. That was going
to be my question. I was going to say you're going to give him this loss and then another game, or you think this is going to be the final straw if he loses this one to kick him?
Well, it depends. I mean, everything. All the boosters with the money. Those are the folks that run the show, and the boosters did put enough pressure. I don't know that this actually happened, but we know how things are when people have money. They put enough pressure on enough people to get somebody to get in Green's ear and say, hey, you might want to consider stepping down. So he stepped down, and now he doesn't have anybody to protect him. So if the boosters go to the interim AD and say, this guy needs to go, he's gone. And I agree with Kate. I think Penn State probably would win. I think Penn State should win this game.
Yeah.
I'm not to take anything away from TJ Finley and Tank Bigsby, but Penn State's coming in with the stronger resume, the stronger looking team. That's where I think it'll go. I'm completely in agreement with 2.5. I don't think is enough. I'm thinking more like a whole touchdown. I think Penn State wins that one by a touchdown. And that will probably wind up being the end of the Brian Harsin era.
And it actually should be, because this is just taken away from Auburn football program. You have to worry about that kind of stuff. It's always bad when you have this kind of off the field type stuff. And to be honest with you, I think probably a lot of the Auburn fans are tired of hearing about it. But just want to watch.
But I also know the fans are not complaining about the fact that they've won. So.
Yeah, true, absolutely. But and going to Kate's point, I think Penn State's going to win this handily, because they're running back. Singleton's got 210 yards for just a few games that he played, and
let's also consider, and this is Kate. I'm sorry, not a knock on any of your teams. Any teams to include your favorite team, which is in the same conference. We've seen what happens repeatedly when you take a Big Ten team and you put them up against an SEC team. So we at least in recent years. So we shall see. I think Penn State should win this game, but we also see that sometimes the team that should win the game doesn't win the game. Just ask Jimbo Fisher, ask Scott Frost. You know what I'm saying? Just ask Marcus Freeman. So shout out to the Sun Belt. I know this is an SEC show, but we're gonna shout them out. Let's move on to our next game here. We're talking Vandy versus Northern Illinois. That game is a 3:30 kickoff on the CBS Sports Network. Both teams here, I think the thing with this game here is both of these teams here, they're no slouches. They're not top tier, but they're no slouches. Vandy came out of the gate fast and hard. Wake Forest shut them down last week. But one thing that we see is that both of these teams can score at will. Mm-hmm. But looking at the scores in the previous games, we also see that both of these teams will also let the other team score at will. So
exactly.
So I think the edge goes slightly to Vandy. I think the edge is slightly to Vandy. I think Mike Wright returns to form this week, the same form that won them their 2 games, the two first games of the season. But the odds makers have Northern Illinois favored by 2 points. So I don't know. We shall see. And Northern Illinois has been known to be there's no slouch either. They're a very scrappy team.
That's only because it's home. I would say that 2.5 points only because it's in Northern Illinois. So
yeah, and as our good friend Mr. Nicholas, I want the smoke, Rosario would say. And again, my friend, they're playing at home. So that's where we got with that. Before we move on to other notable games around the horn in the SEC, it was not a good week for Savannah State for my Tigers. They went to Columbia, South Carolina, faced Benedict College. They held them 0-0. Its score was a 0-0 at the half. Yep. Savannah State came out and scored a touchdown. Benedict College explodes for 24 points and winds up holding SSU to 237 total yards in 4 quarters of football for a 24-46 loss. Savannah State falls to 0-2. Next week, the Tigers travel to Atlanta in the battle of the Georgia HBCUs when they take on the prestigious Morehouse University. That one actually should be a good game, just because I expect a step back from Savannah State this year when their coach left to go join the coaching staff at Virginia Tech. Yeah. And Morehouse has not ever really been traditionally good, so that should be a decent game worth watching. I hope that one's on ESPNU. Of course, the game was on last night on ESPNU, and I was cooking dinner, and I didn't get a chance to, so we'll see.
Yeah, when I texted you or I messaged you, the Facebook messaged you, that was on. It was halftime. I didn't know it was halftime. It was 0-0, so I thought it was. I was like, did it just start? Did the game just start? But no, it was halftime. It was 0-0. I was like, it's been a long time since I've seen a game at 0-0 at halftime. But that looks like they, then they did something, in the second half or changed something at half. But yeah, I was sorry to see that. I was rooting for your You're Savannah State boy.
Yeah, I have single-handedly raised the awareness of HBCU football in the group of people that I follow. I got them watching Savannah State games now. Shay, get at your boy. I got them watching Savannah State football. Look, we gonna have them all doing something before too terribly long. That's what I'm talking about right there. Look, but unfortunately, Savannah State fell a little short, so I had to go in the kitchen. I only made a small help because I don't want the boys to feel bad, but they got some lowercase L's. Next week, we hope they get big W's, not the kind that Jameis Winston like to eat, because don't nobody like them crab legs like that. But Jameis Winston, look, I don't know what the hell he was doing stealing crab legs from Publix in the first place.
Yeah, that was crazy to me.
I mean, the difference between a Publix crab leg and a crab leg from Joe Crab Shack. Anyway, we gonna get off of that. Yeah, because I do that all day. So we're gonna talk about some other notable games to watch. Not notable games, but just games to watch. If you're looking for what else to watch around the SEC this weekend, you got Youngstown State is visiting Lexington to play against number 9 Kentucky. That's on the SEC network at noon. And Kentucky is favored, 98% favorite to win. I'm looking for a really big game from Will Levis. He still does not have his running back, Chris Rodriguez, back yet. Yeah. No word on when he is supposed to rejoin the team, but we're looking at Kentucky to win that one. We'll move on to the next one. We got Abilene Christian. That's the game I said sounds like a Catholic high school. They will be traveling to Missouri. That is also a noon kickoff on ESPN and also on the SEC network. They're favored. They're 98% favorite to win. No line on that one, at least not on the ESPN website. We got Ole Miss traveling to Georgia Tech to play against the Ramblin' Wreck. That is a 3:30 kickoff on ABC. Ole Miss, the overwhelming favorite there. Let's see what else we got here. We got number 15, Tennessee welcomes Akron. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff on ESPN and the SEC network. Tennessee is favored by 47.5 points. I think that means they think that Tennessee is going to win. I'm not a sports analyst or anything like that, but I think they think that means that Tennessee is going to win. Also, we got some team from Alabama that will be playing against Louisiana Monroe at 4 p.m. on the SEC network. That one at Bryant-Denny Stadium. We know how this goes. Bryant-Denny is one of the hardest places to win to win a game in the SEC. This is Louisiana Monroe, and it looks like if the thing will ever pull up, I will give you what the odds are. Alabama is a 99.6% favorite to win. They're laying 49.5. They got them a 49.5 point favorite. And then let's see. Last but not least, number 10, Arkansas is welcoming Missouri State. It's a 7 p.m. kickoff on ESPN Plus and the SEC network. Arkansas favorite to win that one by 99%. That's what we got going on right now.
We got one more game, bro. Yeah, we got Florida.
Oh, yes, we got you, but you know how I feel. You know how I feel about them games.
I was waiting for you to say it. I was like, he ain't gonna say it. He ain't gonna say Florida. He ain't gonna say Florida. He ain't gonna say it.
I didn't want to say Florida. I said it 2-3 times, and that made the crowd look. The crowd is like, "Oh my goodness, is he okay?" Who is Florida playing? They're playing some team from.
They're playing the Bulls. They're playing the Bulls out of South Florida.
They're playing the Bulls out of South Florida. Actually, I think that might kind of be that's actually going to be a litmus test for Florida, I think, after losing to Kentucky last week. Yeah, it's got to be a bounce back game for them. Anthony Richardson's really got to pick himself up by his bootstraps. 7:30 on the SEC network. Florida is actually a 93.9% favorite to win, 24 points. But here's some things. The Bulls are scoring 31.5 points a game, while the Gators are only scoring 22.5. And when it comes down to down the ticker, Florida actually is allowing 359 yards a game, and the Bulls are allowing 495.5 yards a game. So this could definitely be a good opportunity for the Gators to have a bounce back game. Both teams 1-1. Like I said, that game is on the SEC network at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And that is everything around the horn. Are you sure that I didn't forget anybody else? You sure?
I don't think so. Nobody cares, right? And then
I was I was trying real hard not to have to talk about Florida just because
I get it, man. I get it.
you know
Pains me to talk about them too.
yeah, I mean,
Can't stand orange and blue.
I talk about it all the time on the show, but you all don't understand being 18 years old, being a Georgia Bulldog fan for over half your life at this point, being a student at the University of Georgia, living in a dormitory on campus. I was like a 3.5 minute walk down the street from the stadium right next to the Tate Student Center, and watching the world's largest outdoor cocktail party and just watching Emmitt Smith just run up and down the field however he saw fit. It broke my heart. I was hyped. I had this hat, bro. It was all white and it had all different types of variations of UGA on it, and it had a Georgia logo. It had the big G in the front, and it had all these. And I wore that hat everywhere. Like you know how some dudes you always see them, they always got on their favorite hat. That was my hat. I never went anywhere without that hat for the entire school year. Nobody saw me without that hat. I mean, I took it off to play ball and stuff like that, but nobody saw me without that doggone hat.
No, I got you. Well, you know where I'm from. Like I live like 4 miles from the Florida Georgia state line, so it's you can kind of within good reason be a Gator fan or a Dog fan because I mean we're like 4 or 5 hours from Athens, and then we're 4 miles from Jacksonville, so I'd say about an hour and a half from like Gainesville. But yeah, we got a lot of people that went to high school that still live down there. That kind of most of them are Georgia fans. But then you got the occasional Gators. You got a good small group of Gators. So it's that border war there.
Yeah, man. So I don't mean I mean all the disrespect to the Florida Gators, but they got a game this weekend. Watch it if you ain't got nothing to do. That's what I said last year. So we have come to the final segment of this week's show. It is a segment that we like to call the 2-minute warning. This is where we just share a little nugget for you to take with you when you leave the show. You guys know all the games that are going on this weekend. My 2-minute warning is very simple. The weekend is very short. Most of you have worked 40, 60, 70, 80, 100 hours. My man has been putting in a lot of time at work. I've been putting in a lot of time at work. Take that weekend and take this weekend. If you can do it, take this weekend. Let this weekend be for you. Work on letting the weekend be for you and not letting you be for the weekend. Because the weekend should not be, I got to catch up on all the stuff I didn't do all week. The weekend should be, I don't have to work. I'm going to put up my feet. I'm going to go see a football game like Kate's going to do. I'm going to sit in front of the TV and watch a football game like I'm going to do. Unfortunately, my brother, you just came up a little short on that because I understand you got to work this week, but I
got to work Saturday and Sunday, so I got to work 12 days, 11 days straight. That's the last Monday, so yeah. But still, don't think I will be watching ball games. So I have the luxury of sitting at home. I can definitely have TV on the background. Trust me, I'll be all right.
Yeah. So definitely take the time and start working on letting the weekend be for you and not you be for the weekend. And that's my 2-minute warning. So I'm gonna hand it over to you, sir. What you got for us before we get out of here?
Man, I'm just gonna to share personal. I don't know. I guess my personal feelings. Like I'm loving the cool weather. We're starting. I'm a fall weather guy, and I'm just enjoying just a little bit of the coolness we're getting right now. And then especially when football starts, it's just right at the corner. Fall's just around the corner, and it's getting there. I mean, it changed my mood like drastically. I don't know what it is about it, but I just love fall. Being from Georgia, we have hot and we have even hotter, and it's just like it's just soup down there. But I'm not a huge fan of the winter and snow, but fall is my jam. Watching football, can't get anything better. But going to what Mr. Finger said over there, take time for yourself. Don't forget, do all the things you need to do, but do not forget to take care of yourself. Give time for yourself. Put aside time for yourself. Even if it's just to watch TV. Watch TV, take a walk, do something like that. Don't let, like you just said, don't let life rule you. You rule life. Basically, what it goes down to.
Amen to that, sir. Amen to that. The air horn for Colin P. from the DMV. Thank you very much, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, wow, brother, we look, 54 minutes. We killing it today.
Hey, that was quick.
But it goes like that. It goes like that. So we appreciate all of you for tuning in to this week in SEC football, episode 25 of the second season. Make sure you tune in and enjoy the games. If you've been watching, and I have not said this the whole show, make sure to like, make sure to share, make sure to subscribe. We appreciate you guys being around. But all of those things help the algorithm, and it helps to spread the news that we got a great show going on here. And we appreciate you for taking the time to tune in. So we will be back on Monday with recaps and more news.
I gotta say something before you go.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So I was gonna say I had the pleasure again to be on Sean, Spencer, and Kate, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but I was on the This Week in College Football, and just want to let you know your boy actually almost picked the upset. Like there was an upset pick, and it was Alabama and Texas, and I picked Texas to beat Alabama, and it was just a minute too short there. Everybody thought I was crazy. But,
does that make me crazy?
But anyway, yeah, that's a fun show to be on, man.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, we do appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to let you get back to your weekends. We will see you on Monday. So on behalf of myself, Mr. Fingers from Zagnev Central, and my homie, the brother from another, Colin P from the DMV, we will see you later. Take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you next time. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.